welcome back to the Addams Family Mystery Mansion. This is part 2 to the Thanksgiving of 2020 event. And I hope you enjoy a long video, because guess what? Yep, that's right. It's another filler episode. Oh boy, you love those. But the good news, this is the last of the filler episodes, because moving forward, I'm merging everything together. And as you'll see, this will be the last time you'll see much of the match puzzles, because eventually I tend to cut them out permanently, as you'll probably see why. Before I do that, I want to show you some pictures from the socials. First one is this one with his new outfits for Thanksgiving. It was an advertising for the fact that the new costumes that came into the game, which is fine and dandy for itself, so not too bad there. The next one is actually this, which is a contest. And the contest, I believe, if I remember correctly, was to basically, if you had to do a Thanksgiving dinner for the Addams, what would you suggest as far as food goes? So a lot of people were being creative with, bat souffle and, anything else you can think of. It's just pretty fun to kind of have that kind of go about. Then we had an advertising for the new puzzle system that I mentioned way back before, which is interesting. But, yeah, there's that. And finally, we have the unhappy Friday the 13th, because it was Friday the 13th in November of this year, which is interesting. But yeah, it's just a little thing like that. I mean, like a game like this, it has to celebrate the 13th Friday, don't they? Right, so before we move on, something I want to show off is this here. This is another advertising of the icon that you can have, which actually had Socrates with the football, which is interesting because they put effort into having Socrates' profile here with the football, but they didn't use it at all, which is weird. I wonder why, but whatever. It's neither here or there. But anyways, we'll jump back into the gameplay. This is taking place on the 9th, and get ready for some puzzles because, oh boy. So, we're continuing on from where we last left off with the puzzles, as you can see, and basically just completing it from before. Now, something I failed to mention the first episode we went on to was the fact that Gomez, his new costume that we've unlocked, had a little picture on the actual apron, which instead of the whole kiss the cook type of deal, it's actually kick the cook, because, they're the opposites. Like, oh yeah, don't forget to kick your father goodnight, it's just, haha, funny. But yeah, that's just something I did forget to mention before. And unfortunately, like the episodes from the past, you'll find out that, unfortunately, we have to, there's not much as far as story goes, as far as, the actual, what you'll see here. The dialogue, we're gonna be kind of moving forward a little bit when it comes to the main objective, which is the Gomez changing the book that Morticia had, and it turned out that they seem to love it. We're going to find out the cause and what he's going to do with this type of situation. But the other big thing is it will conclude or continue from the Thanksgiving episode. And what we'll noted, or what I point out, is that unfortunately there's only one episode, or one, what do you call it? I had a thought. We were only doing one of the episodes for this Thanksgiving thing, and we're going to finish everything off in the next episode as like the last one before. And like I mentioned before, this is going to be the last time we ever do these puzzle stuff, and you'll see why, because eventually I end up getting frustrated. I did kind of mention it during the part 1, but part 3 is when it comes full steam ahead, and this is where I end up, like, literally we're at the last of them, and I basically just, I had enough. I was basically done with it. I was just out of it 100%. And I feel like part of it too, the reason why I stopped doing it, was eventually they ended up changing the way you would you know, like they would say when you buy the pack, it's like, oh, you can have the option of getting these costumes along the way. While you know, if you buy this, then you'll have the ability to unlock this while playing the puzzles, and this is why you would force to be playing the puzzles. But I believe it might be the next update they changed that, so that way, I might be mistaken, but this was probably the explanation of why I stopped doing it, was eventually they changed it so that when you buy the pack, you bought everything. So it was a way to, and you can get the items through the progression of playing the puzzles, or you can buy this pack and just get them all right then and there. And as you can see, that kind of does defeat the purpose of just going with the whole idea of the pack. So with that in mind, that ended up, I think, eventually less and less advertising this puzzle thing. And I think in the next year at some point, you'll see when they stopped and when they started not to advertise her every update. So she became a bi-monthly thing rather than a every update type of deal. So yeah, and yeah, I might as well show you this because it's like it's one of those things that kind of has to make you think of this type of stuff. And I'm still amazed by the fact that they're able to make content for this game despite only having the one movie. And we have seen before, and we'll see in the next episode, that we end up getting a look at a new what is this level system. One of the episodes that get introduced, I think the next one coming up, is actually based on one of the more famous episodes from the original TV series back in the 60s. And I'll talk more about that when we get to there, because it's like on point, exactly like in the episode. The only difference is they changed one of the main characters, unfortunately. And I have a theory on why, but you know, I'll mention that. And unfortunately, I'm not happy with the end result here. But hey, whatever, it makes sense here. So, besides that, there is, let's see this here. I do apologize, but, you know, the puzzles, man, they're not entertaining. But, I don't know, it makes it very hard to kind of do, like, I do this for archivable purposes and whatnot, but still, this is part of the reason why we're going to stop with this in the future, because, quite honestly, it's one of those things where, you know, I've learned from my mistakes. My mistakes. So now we're not doing this anymore, which is great. Because before, I used to just cut these stuff out. But now, I'm showing you, like, part 1, you saw the stuff I cut out, right? It could have been longer. Now, in part 2, I'll show you why I cut these out. Because as you can see, this makes the video even longer, unfortunately. Man, it's still hard to believe that this feature used to be so cool to have, and then for some reason they ended up just ruining it. And you know, it's what it is. It's, you know, it happens, right? But yeah, I believe our first commercial break coming back, we're gonna have a lot more of the actual episode stuff, dialogue, so we get to progress within the story. And I think after that, we'll have another break. And I believe after that, that will be it as far as dialogue. Like, the dialogue is coming in the second half of this, so, you know. So this is like a 3-parter, so 1/3 of it is the story, and then the other parts are just this. And, and of course, it's not just all this. There's also going to be puzzles, and not puzzles, oh god. I meant to say there would be costumes and things of that nature. Now, I don't know if we'll actually be able to show off the animations. I think that might end up being for part 3, because we'll end up getting costumes, but unfortunately some of the animations needs certain items, which is a little bit more farther ahead of the battle track here. So, yeah. Speaking of which, it is weird that the gold pass has, I guess it makes sense, but you know, it's odd that the gold pass has like all the levels actually give you something, whereas the free track doesn't give you a whole lot. And I think like the free track should give you at least a bit more value. Like it doesn't have to give you like items and whatnot. I get that. Like exclude that off. That's fine. What I meant is that, you know, for giving unique items as far as you know, consumables go, I think that would help a lot. But yeah, it is something to kind of think about. But yeah, I'm just kind of thinking here with what I'm going to be doing as far as my past wanted to do as far as making progression goes. And I don't want to use the... Yeah, I wanted to use it appropriately. So that's why I was judging when to use it properly. So, we got that going on here. And... I think I'm debating if I did get this or not, but I'm thinking I didn't, unfortunately. I think what it seems like it's been doing is that I've been just showing off when I don't get these things, because the next clip is basically me beating it. Whereas before, the other clips were just basically like, oh, I completed it, so I don't have to continue with this, or just move on to the next one, right? Which seems to be the case. Yeah, we were getting so close to this too. Oh! Oh, what a tease. That's like a double one. Oh, God. You saw that. That was bull. And of course, I'm not happy about it either, because I spent 15 gems on it. There, I did it. Something that should have happened in the first place. But yeah, by the way, something I didn't mention during part 1 while I was talking, but I kind of zoomed in, was I zoomed in on the part where, oh yeah, and this one, by the way, was the able to unlock the centerpiece here, which I'm gonna basically put down, apply to all, and then remove it. Yeah, we'll put it down and then sell it. If I can get it, yep. Okay, sell it. Okay, good. Yep, so now it's there. So now we'll continue. Anyways, what I failed to mention, or not mention, but point out or kind of talk about, was during the time when this was happening, there was an incident that happened where I zoomed in on the diamonds, and I'm like, okay, look at the diamonds. So I go in, it cuts out the puzzle, and then I zoom in after the fact, and you see how much diamonds got gone. Because here's the thing, that's like 15 every time, right? So just imagine how much I had to spend just to get through that puzzle. And you can see the frustrations because of how much I got wasted just for that one particular puzzle. It's ridiculous. So yeah, to say I'm being a fan of this, I wasn't. And my frustration starts to get a little bit more. As you'll see here, a lot of it is just basically RNG. But that's not the only problem with it. Yeah, RNG is like whatever, right? It's random luck. But part of the problem too is that some of it is just extremely hard. They give you less moves and they expect you to do these combos that is impossible because they don't give you the items needed, right? Or you're too stupid to realize the puzzles, like you can solve the puzzles. Or in this case, they give you like these double spider things you have to clear, so there's like no point to doing that, right? But one benefit, oh yeah, and I finally got this, by the way, so now we can continue with the quest once I get what I need, which I believe we still need to craft some of the items, I think, in order to complete this. Yeah, unfortunately we do, because yeah, and now I remember. Yeah, we do, unfortunately. So we got the going on here. We get to do this. And let's see. We got a few things to do here, like the flowers, which is good. Should put that down. There's some costumes for this, which is nice. But we'll put this down here because this is going to help me as far as when I need more of the herb toxin. I'm able to do it because it requires, I think, 2 or 3 of the plants, and yeah, so they need a lot of soggy vegetables. We already got 2, we need 5, so yeah. And again, I might be mistaken with my numbers here, because like I said, the problem is when it comes to these editings and past recordings, unlike before when I'm I'm playing this while like doing a commentary on live footage, right? So I'm trying to recollect and think things in the past, but because it's going in the way it does, and because of how small the text is, when it's moving, it kind of has this very blurry, blocky vision. Like, it's not 100% clear cut. And I don't know if it's just because of the program itself. Hold on. Cool. And we got Lurch's skin. Like what I mentioned before, we won't be able to do them because unfortunately we need an item, which is the stove. But what I meant to say was that, yeah, great. Forgot. Thanks game. You made me forget what I wanted to say, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it's gonna be one of those having to look back and go, okay, that's what I wanted to do. But can't for the life of me remember. Oh, right. It's just the fact that I'm not sure if it's because of my computer that is the issue, or the program. It could be either or, honestly. It could just be the resolution, honestly. But when it's standing still, it's able to be read. But when you're playing through this, it actually eats up the resources or something like that. And it is annoying when it comes to editing this stuff, because, you know, once I put the dialogue stuff onto the whole video, I have to render the thing. And then I have to re-watch the video. Like, I have to re-watch the video from beginning to end, and I do it in fast speed because, you know, I don't really need to pay attention to stuff. Like, I kind of trained myself to kind of listen into fast speed stuff things, right? So I pay attention to if anything got broken, or if I screwed up on something. So that way I go, okay, now go back, fix everything, and then once I'm satisfied with that, re-render the thing, and then that's the finished product. And here's the thing, you might be wondering why do that? Like, why not just do it once and done? Sometimes I'm lucky and I can do that. Other times I'm not so lucky. Sometimes what happens is, if I don't do that, there has been some videos I watched in the past, and I noticed that either I screwed up on something where I forgot to zoom in on something, or I forget to add a quote or something, or a weird audio bug or something like that, and I didn't catch that because of not rewatching the thing. And that's important. At one point I remember I wanted to do a video, and when I did it, I found out there's a problem now with when it comes to rendering longer videos. So what ended up happening now is that it ends up glitching out. So so long as the video is like a certain length, like maybe 30 minutes or so, it's fine. But if it exceeds to an hour or so, that's when it starts to break and glitch out. And I'm not aware of this. And I guess it doesn't like the idea of being on for that long. Alright, so they want to have it done in parts versus just one long video, which is stupid, but whatever. So that's why I do the things I do, because it helps me out. But yeah, what ended up happening is I found this out the hard way, and needless to say, I ended up seeing that it glitched out at some point, so I had to re-edit myself in. I had to do it the next day because I wasn't happy with what happened. And, you know, can you imagine, you're doing a recording, you got all the stuff, you did your first reaction, and then it just glitched out like that? That's horrible. And, sometimes, you might not be lucky, and you actually end up, like, editing yourself out. Like, you think you got this stuff done, and it ends up glitching out, so the file that you ended up doing with your recording on got glitched out, so now, unfortunately, you have to do that stuff over again. And, yeah, the same reactions are not the same anymore, which sucks. And unfortunately, I think by the time we finally get, like, because I've completed a lot of these archive stuff, when we get to the last of these archives, the last of me doing this type of thing, I believe this will be, like, I've been starting to do these kind of beginning recording stuff, and, yeah, it's gonna be odd, because I had to re-edit it, and I'm just have to figure out once we get to there what I'm gonna be doing with it, because honestly, it's just gonna be a mess. in order to make sense of it, but I'll get through it. But yeah, the whole 2020 and 2021 thing is just, it's gonna be interesting, man. It's certainly gonna be interesting, and it's hard too because I'm trying to make this into a time capsule of like being able to be my mind back in the past when this was going on back in November. But the problem is like, you know, like, I mean, to put a time frame, this is like going into the 10th. But the problem is that it's very difficult to try to remember what you did back in the day, right? So you have to do it right when it happens and not like wait a few years later and then do it, because then it's like, okay, what else have happened? So that's why I'm kind of happy that I've started doing these recordings of kind of like my thoughts and whatnot, because then I can go back and look at it and go, oh, right, I remember now. Like, this was a thing that happened, because, you know, like, I wouldn't have known how I felt back then unless past me actually ended up saying it. So, you know, the puzzles, I would look at this and kind of go like, oh, well, I must have stopped because I got bored of it or something like that. But no, there's a reason why I stopped, and past me decided to elaborate on why that was the case. And I'm like, oh, thank you, past me. You made it very obvious, and you made it crystal clear to everybody now, which makes it more easy for me when it comes to these editing stuff. So I think we're getting a bit lengthy in here. So I think what we're going to end up doing is, I think after this puzzle failure, I'm assuming it's a fail, we're going to end up stopping this for a break, and then we will continue after that. And I believe when we do that, we'll get more story, which is going to be great, and then we'll go back to the monotony of these puzzles. And this is why the videos since July going into November were all 3 parts, because of how long this took. And you have to imagine, some of these videos I ended up cutting a lot out. It would have been like hours and 30 minutes length of these stupid puzzles, and I ended up cutting them down for your enjoyment. And, you know, I'm doing this because I'm like showing you the monotony of this type of stuff and why it sucks. And it sucks for me for editing, so I'm kind of glad that, you know, they end up fixing the puzzles in the future, but I'm glad that they've, in a way, stopped with this. I think they themselves got annoyed with this new little feature, because I think they overdid it, which is unfortunate. And I believe in next year, you know, in the 2021, they introduce a new game, or they will introduce a new game that might focus heavily on these puzzles, and we'll see how well it does. By the time this video comes out, technically, we already know what happened to it, but for the purpose, we're pretending it's 2021, so we don't know what it's going to be. But yeah, 6 moves, and we have a lot of stuff to do, and likely than not, we are not going to complete it, because that's just how it's going to be. Which I'm not surprised, to tell you the truth. Not surprised at all. So, let's go ahead and fail this, and come back after the break, and, you know, be miserable about the fact that this was just, I don't know what you would call this, but it was a thing, for sure. Anyways, I guess I should return after the break, so, yeah, see you in a bit. Sad Morticia. Welcome back. We're continuing on with this and beating the puzzle here, finally. I know, it's been such a while. Took a nice, relaxing soak, as it were, to get myself nice and refreshed. Because I need to get myself waking up some point, because, well, quite honestly, this is going to be a little lengthy one. But don't worry. Oh, I hear a crow. Where is it? Where are you? That's the thing about that. Sometimes you hear them and you don't know where they are. Other times they're just there and you didn't hear them. It's peculiar, but what happens. Anyways, let's do this, and perfect. Right, now then, we got to still do this, unfortunately. Yeah, still got a long way to go, a little bit more. But fortunately for you, before we get to our next break, we're going to do most of the dialogues that we can for the moment. So we'll be continuing on the main story, and then we will be finishing off this one quest here, and we'll finish the rest of it off in the last video, and somewhat, yeah. Alright, anyways. Puzzle time. Oh boy, look at this nightmare. I had to pause it real quick because, you know, I had to figure out what I was gonna do about that. But yeah, just look at this. This is a nightmare. How am I gonna get the bottom parts? That's what I want to know. This is just, I hate this. This is what I meant. This is one of the insanities I had to deal with. So just imagine how infuriating this must be. It's horrible. It's really awful. Oh my god, I don't know who designed these puzzles at the time, but they must have been a masochist or someone who just hated you. Because there's no way a human being would be able to do this. Like, how? You don't have any good upgrades. You have to get lucky with lining everything up, but even then, it's like, the only way to clear that bottom one is if you had a rocket going diagonal on that side, and that's kind of rare to do. And even then, if you had that line up like that, you would have to get other stuff going, right? And then you just had this, God, it's look at it and it just hurts my brain. A little bit of me dies inside looking at this. I don't know how the hell I ended up completing this the way I did, but I did. Oh, well, I guess that's another way you can do it, but yeah, there's no way I was gonna do this here, but I have no idea how I got this done, but I end up doing it. So let's see this. Yeah, see, I ended up doing it, but the question is, did I have to race to Woobies? Let's find out. No, I didn't. Oh, hi, Crow. Cool. See what I mean? You didn't hear the crow that time, but he was there, so it's peculiar. Alright, oh boy. See, this is what I'm talking about with the whole... See, aren't you glad that in part 1 I was cutting this stuff out, and then the other parts too? The reason I'm including this in here is because I want you to suffer with me. I want you to understand the horrors of this thing, so that you can understand why I hate this so much. Why we ended up getting rid of it on the process. Why in the future, whenever this comes in, I'll never do anything with this. Never. I don't even bother with it anymore. This is why. It just overstood its welcome. And the puzzles, it just got harder and more of a pain, and it just got ridiculous. And I couldn't deal with it anymore. I just couldn't deal with it anymore. And quite honestly, I don't think people would blame me for that, honestly. I really do think so. Anyways, we'll still see how well. I probably don't make this one either. Yeah, I'm just having self-doubts of myself, huh? I just kind of look at myself and go, nah, you're not gonna make it. Oh man, dear, oh dear, poor me. I'm just hating myself on this one. But yeah, it's interesting with the theming for Thanksgiving this year being that of being normal. And they'll go a little bit about this because they do talk about Gemini being the two-headed turkey, which I guess... Give me one moment. Alright, I guess if my attempt of thing failed. But again, it wouldn't be a signature Grim video without me being yawning and tired on this type of stuff. See, this is partially why too I also try to not do these anymore. That's the type, or thinking of changing it up, because this is just getting harder for me to do. But hey, it's works out at the end of the day. But regardless of that, we have some interesting... Man, I'm really taking my time with this, aren't I? And, oh yeah, that's the other thing I was thinking too. I could have just speed this up for you and made it a little bit less of a pain. But, nah, you don't get that. You don't get that at all. The Addams is all about suffering, and I'm just bringing it in with the family. Get to suffer with me. But, don't worry. We're getting it done soon, and we'll complete a quest, which is the main one finally. So, you know, let's just do 4 more moves, fail, and continue on with that. So, yeah. So let's do that right now. You failed. Yay, did it. Alright, let's finish this. Here's the last check.
We think Morticia Addams is the perfect role model for young people. We hope to publish more books from her in the future. I guess I'm such a great businessman, even when I try to fail, I succeed. Lurch, do you have any book ideas you'd like me to sell?
Hey, look at the bright side. It's a talent you have.
Mister, these are too many royalty checks coming in from Morticia's book. Where can I hide all this money before she starts to suspect?
Just spend the money recklessly like you normally do. No one will be the wiser.
Great idea! I'll order a new set of gold-plated golf clubs. Better yet, make them solid gold.
Alright, place 2 golden golf clubs. Yep. So this is what we need to do. Unfortunately, I've been raising money, so I have enough to actually do this. So we'll be able to complete the quest, and then we'll be in a crossroads. Now, I don't think it's this episode per se. I think it might be a mistake. I have to think. There was a glitch that happened that basically allowed me to play more than one quest line. And I'm not sure what it was exactly, but I'll point it out when it does happen. But I think it's going to happen sometime in December or near the end of part 3. I'm not sure exactly, but I guess we'll have to see for ourselves as well. But anyways, let's go ahead and see what Morticia has been up to, shall we?
My 3rd book will be The 3 Bears and the Intruder. I think the story of Goldilocks is best told from the point of view of the bears. After all, she was a trespasser, and bears have rights too.
Exactly. Screw that Goldilocks.
Darling, you look positively luminescent tonight. I could gaze at you for hours.
Gomez, you only study a thesaurus for adjectives when you want to butter me up. What have you done now?
Oh, just a small thing, my love. Hardly worth mentioning. I altered your book before it was published. Here, you can see for yourself.
Don't judge, dear. Place the bookshelf and grant Morticia's desires for a storybook. Oh boy. And by the way, I did see that crow during Gomez's last spot there, so yeah. Also, I just realized I failed to to reveal what the title of that last quest was, so oops, oh well, I guess you could have read it and understand from there, but for me, the answer will be no. Sorry. You know, that sucks, but what can you do? And, okay, so we need to do it. It's a skin, I see. So it turns this one shelf into another colored one. Interesting. Alright, well, I did that, I guess. So, did it work? It did. Okay. So I just have to grant her desires of a book. I don't know if that... Okay. So it's going to be a little while for that. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the main quest line. That it's been a while since we went through that. And, oh, hi, Crow. And, yeah, hopefully you did enjoy that, because that's the last time we're going to talk about it for now in this video. But we have one more quest dialogue we can come up with, and that's going to be for the event story. And after that, then we're back to puzzles. More and more puzzles, because I hate myself so much. Are you getting tired of this yet? I'm sure you are, but nah, I just like suffering myself. The mansion himself, me, I guess. I'm the mansion. Oh, God. You know, I'll be so happy once this is done. I know I had somewhat optimistic when I was just trying to like, oh, I'll talk about the episodes and whatnot. And it's like, and at some point, yeah, I could have, but at the same time, it's like, you can't really. You really can't. During this time, it's just filler content to try to eat up video time. It sucks too, because the attention, to try to keep people entertained while this is going on is ridiculous. In fact, what I would encourage you to do during these videos is, to help your sanity out, is that if you're watching this on YouTube, there's a button that allows you to speed this up to 2 times the speed. And it might be a little bit daunting when you do that, but believe me, in the long run, it will help you very much. And I recommend it, especially for the part 2s here. But again, don't worry, this is the last time we're going to have to deal with this stuff, because the next videos are going to be more filler content, more better content, and no more puzzles. In part 3, you'll find out why. But yeah, it gets interesting, I'll say that. But yeah, it is something to suffer through. But I think at the end it will be well worth it. But that's just me. After all, I could be mistaken here, but yeah. Also, I will say, I do like how I had Gail dress up like the girls in their Nightingale, the Purple Nightingales costume there. And by the way, spoilers, that's the story that's gonna come up. So yeah, we finally got the last of the soggy vegetables, which means that we can now place the leaves down. And after that, finish the quest line and then start the new one, which we won't be able to do anything of, because, again, like I said, this is going to be the last of the dialogues for this episode. So let's just go ahead and put this down and continue.
You may have saved Gemini once, and how can you keep the family from eating him?
Let's get the store-bought turkey and sew on an extra head. We'll say we already killed Gemini.
Then Gemini can escape into the woods to freedom, as long as Kitty doesn't get him.
Well, I guess Gemini saved himself out there, so good for him, I guess they loved the turkey so much that they let him survive in the wild. And I guess the turkeys we've been doing was just one of those fake turkeys, those fake heads that you see in freak shows.
Look at all these old football uniforms I found. The Purple Nightingales?
Those belong to the old Addams family team. They lasted only 1 game.
Did they get injured?
They played so dirty they got expelled by halftime. But let's put on the uniforms and play.
Purple Nightingales, place the football cart, which we have, and we need to get the pumpkin pies, which we are doing, so that's great. So yeah, that's going to be unfortunate for us, because that's going to be it. And you know what, we're going to also go into a little bit of a break, because why not? You need a little bit of a extra time to kind of ingest from a commercial break, right? Anyways, I did buy something, which is a costume I missed out on our nostalgic event, that being Auntie Sloom. So yes, now she has her old nostalgic costume. But we'll be right back. Here comes the fun! Do-do-do-do! I hope you enjoyed that. Yep, you're back. I hope the commercial wasn't too bad. But, yeah, we're back doing this, so fun indeed. Oh, hi, Crow. Again, that's gonna be something that we're gonna be doing. Anyways, let's do this here. We only have a few more left in order to get this done. Unfortunately, we won't meet the level 40, unfortunately. And I believe, fortunately for us, Morticia isn't required. I think you can get Morticia, I think not at the last level, but I might be mistaken, because I think at some point I did get to almost everything until the last level, and then I just stopped. But yeah, I'm just trying to reconsider here, because I know Morticia was, I think, one of the unlockables. But yeah, either or. I'm not 100% sure, but I know I ended up getting it, but I didn't complete all of the puzzles. So that is something to note. But I have to look back at myself and see exactly what ended up happening, because I myself am curious about it too, and I can't for the life of me recall exactly what must have happened. But hey, it's, whatever. Anywho, with that besides the point, let's go ahead and just think about this here. Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit boring to try to get all the way to the end, but I think we can manage. I think we can make it. But yeah, Addams. Wednesday. No, Morticia. I'm just looking at the thumbnail I made here, just trying to think if there's something I can talk about. Oh, well, I mean, I guess can't because Grandma is coming. This is something I just realized too since the first part, and part 3 will explain more of this, but you know, Grandma being a Black Friday sale during this special costume, it's unique because there will be a deal that goes on, which I'll show you the animation for, but needless to say, interesting idea, but you know, it's whatever. Anywho, we got some thing. Cool. So, that's done there. We open another one. Anyways, I don't think Parker's involved this time around. No, I don't think she is. I might be mistaken, but I don't think Parker has a costume. No, she doesn't. Yeah. Weird. This is the first time that she's not involved. You would think you would be, but no. I guess this time she's just not part of the family for Thanksgiving. And you know, I think you know what it is. She doesn't want to involve in any of the nasty food. Like, you know, it's like, oh, I could be an Addams and be weird, but that's drawing the line. I can't do that, which is odd. But yeah, again, kooky family. At least this puzzle doesn't look too intimidating. It looks kind of like okay, like it's plausible, kinda. But we'll see how I feel about that, because currently I could fail this. I could actually clear that down there, but I don't know if I've actually seen that. No, probably didn't. Man, there's so many ways I could have done stuff, but I just didn't. Oh boy. You know what? Looking back in the past, sometimes I'm just like getting frustrated at myself. But then I understand where that frustration comes in when I'm just like, oh my god, you could have done so much, but ended up not doing that for whatever reason. You know, if I can get that... this is gonna be hard because... yeah, I could do that, but then, you know... yeah, I guess I did that. Oh well. Yeah, so we killed the first spider. Get rid of that. And now do that. There we go, that's what I figured. So we need to kill 2 more. Actually, we just need to kill the 2 bugs, because the ice we don't need to clear anymore. Interesting. But it's gonna be hard because the ice blocks are in the way, unfortunately. So, I might be wrong here, but yeah, unfortunately, came close but not far. Oh well. Anyways, got that done. Because that was part of the quest as well, so now I just have to do the crafting thing, which is, or not the crafting, the selling into market. Yeah, the desires, sorry. I should call them desires, that's what they are. The family desires, because they're requiring certain items for some reason. Don't ask questions, just accept it, right? Accept it as fact. It's what it is. Anyways, yeah, well, let's have them do that. Alright, I'm gonna have these guys do this. Maybe I'll be lucky to get it, but who knows. Right. Oh yeah, Neil's worth. Oh yeah. Right. Forgot. Because it's the 13th. Yeah, that's, you know, I ended it off on the 13th, so, you know, it still keeps on going on. Yeah, can you imagine that? It's only been a few days, and it feels like it's been out longer, but I don't know what's wrong with me. Just filling it up, man. Again, I don't know what the context was back in the day. This was during the... oh, I must have completed the other one, then I didn't show it for some reason, but okay. So, oh, this one's gonna be a pain because of the wood. Then we have to the stumps we have to clear up. But one thing that I was thinking just recently was that I think it was because, yeah, it was because of Chicken that was during that update. So, yeah, it's just all over the place. It's possible that this could get completed if I make the right moves, but yeah, it's just figuring everything out. Oh, I couldn't make a Connect 5 right there, but oh well. Oh well. things happen, you know. This is the problem, because this is why I'm no longer doing these anymore. Because of this whole purpose here. This whole, like, you look at stuff and think, oh, I could have done this move or that move, or it's just like, I don't want people to judge me for my puzzles. Judge me for my decorating skills, sir, or my butchering of certain the English language when it comes to fancy-pantsy words that don't get used in English language very much. But, regardless, when it comes to puzzles, I don't want anyone to criticize me on my puzzle matchmaking skills. You know. Yeah, because, again, that's... I don't think the stars do anything, by the way. They're just there. Anyways, take 2. Oh, right. So this is interesting. So now they've added this. So, for the lollipop. Okay. Tile for bombs. And then the other tile for swipe. Yeah, so it's like a tile for the lollipop. So they finally added this thing, which is actually swap 2 tiles. So this actually is very good because this helps us now. Though, remember back in October when there was a glitch that happened a while ago? Yeah, so this is what this is here. So, it's interesting that we got this here. But they're like very rare to come by now. They don't even offer them in the battle, like, I call it the cookie pass, whatever you call it. You know, the progression thing. But yeah. Oh, and we don't even have to clear all of them? Wow, okay. That's fair. Anyway, so I ended up clearing all of them anyways, but... Yeah, weird. Yeah, so they added that in. I knew they were going to add it in there eventually, but I didn't know how soon it was, so... I guess it made my life a little bit easier, but, yeah. Interesting that they actually added that. Huh. Interesting. On Friday the 13th, no less. The baddest luck of days actually became my luck. Imagine that. Very peculiar. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, you learn something new every day. But yeah, the glitch that we seen on October finally came into the game. It took them a little while, but yeah. It's weird because, yeah, I still remember that. That was so bizarre back in October that I ended up going to -1. I went to like the glitchy Mario world. I don't know how the hell I ended up there, but I did. So, but yeah, you know, that's my skill. I'm just the glitch master. I can make things glitch. Anyways, let's continue on under this. Oh. Oh, okay, that was a fluke. Again. But it was a proper fluke, so... We've seen that preview there. So we've seen it back in October, and now we've seen it again in November. But regardless of that, it's interesting because that means the feature is going to come very soon. So eventually they'll advertise that, but... yeah, it's weird that it glitched out like... Yeah, because it was weird, because I didn't think it would come out, but there it was. Out of nowhere. I don't know why it happened like that, but okay. Don't question it. Just, you know, I guess RNG just felt sorry for me at that moment, so they decided to just gift me the power of the almighty... the... whatever it is. Yeah, there you go. That wasn't too bad. See, some of these puzzles aren't bad, and then there are some that are just horrible. Like you've seen some of them that were like god-awful. But god, man. Again, I do apologize. This whole episode is just all the puzzles leading up to this moment here. And I think the reason I'm kept in this in part 2 was because I wanted you to see, and I've said this many times before, but I really want to hammer this down. I want you to see what I had to go through, the horrors that this is, right? I made you less suffered when it came to part 1s, but now you're gonna suffer with me. And don't worry, in part 3 we won't be getting close to it, but eventually I end up freaking out and giving up on, as it were, with these puzzles. So yeah, but I don't know how they've improved since the last time. I kind of go in and out sometimes with the puzzles, but I hardly like see if they're worth it or not. So they're just whatever. Right? Maybe it worked out, maybe it didn't. I don't know. But hey, you know what? Again, another easy one that isn't too bad. I used up all my moves, but hey, whatever. I made it. Again, and the other thing too is that I don't know what the purpose of the star system is. It's like it doesn't give me anything interesting if I got 3 stars. So it's like it's just there. It's like point system. It's like, oh yippee, you know. Anyways, oh boy. Anyways, I got the skin now, so let's just change this. And here's the Thanksgiving skin. Wow, look at that. Got the topiary, or whatever. I think that's what it's called, a topiary. I got a whole bunch of stuff here, so interesting. Interesting indeed. But whatever. You know, that does remind me of a story where I think it was Horror Town. I know I'm talking about another game, but bear with me. There was a topiary, a scary topiary that was available back in October. And November, back in 2018, but I never bought it because at the time it was just like, I don't need it, you know. But now I'm kind of hitting myself because there were certain items that I could have gotten that were unique, but I never did because I wasn't too invested into the game until like I am now. And thank God for the Addams weren't the same thing because I could have frankly thought differently, but I think I got desensitized to the whole marketed. The selling point of this game, as far as how they make their profits with the bundles, that I've just kind of like, you know what, I don't care. But this game is not for everybody, of course. This is why I do these videos, is just to archive this game. You get to see the suffering, you get to see my sacrifice of financial, like, you know, income stability as far as this, what I spend. Because, you know, eventually this is just a grind. It's just like, as Helgear once said to one of the games, it's pay to play, or pay to not lose. No, it was pay to not lose. That's what it was. To pay to not lose. It's like, yeah, technically you could get the costumes via the cookie box mechanics. So there's that, but unfortunately you can't do diddly with them because you need a certain item that's available only in a pack, and even after the fact, those costumes become worthless. They just become storage space, and then it's just like, it just makes the game slow because now it can't progress anymore. I don't know why, but it sucks. But hey, whatever. Anyways, I make it through progress with these puzzles, so not too bad, I guess. Anyways, yeah, hey, cuckoo, poo-poo. Yeah, I don't know what that whole thing was, but bear with me. I'm just bearing with my insanity for a minute. Oh, we got instead of spiders, we got cockroaches, or beetles, whatever they're called. Alright, so there's a lot of stuff we can do here. Yeah, that's good enough. Anyways, what am I doing? Yeah, I know they're telling me to do that, but I don't want to do that. I guess I could pretend as if I'm playing this real life and being like, yes, this is what I want to do. Instead of actually what it really is watching and commentating over old video and trying to think what my brain was thinking back then. What was wrong with me back then? Why did I record this stuff? Because I'm an idiot, that's why. Because I want to see myself suffer, but, you know, I don't know. I guess it's just something about it just make me think like I had to record this, but even I got tired of it. And, well, now, not in looking at this, I'm getting tired of it, but, you know, again, like I said, this is the last of this, so once November is done, December is going to be easy, and then all the other ones are going to be just fine and dandy. We don't have to suffer for this anymore. Although December, we will see a bit of puzzles, but it's not going to be the main focus. Just putting it that out there. But, yeah. Anyways, not too bad. Yeah, okay. So we got that going on there. Yeah, I'm just thinking, what exactly is my plan here? Because it looks like I have a theory what I want to do, but it seems like that might not happen. Oh, I could have done a 5. I could have gotten 5, but I didn't do that because I didn't see it. This is why I hate watching these stuff, because it makes me look stupid. Oh god, I got one bug, that's great. I have 3 moves. I doubt I'm gonna get anything done. Which sucks. But, I guess my luck ran out. Unfortunately. Oh boy. Yeah. Yep, this was entertaining. And don't you love these episodes? Don't you love part 2s? Oh yes, I love me some puzzles. Best action content ever. Yes, don't care. Good, he's dead. And I got no moves, so I did it. Oh, 2 stars? Oh, ooh, I don't care. I got more boxes, so I can open 3 of them, so that's great. 1. Cool. Alright. Let's open up the second one. 2. Yep. And 1 more. 3. 3 cookie boxes. Alright, now that the counts helped us count, let's continue 38. So, yes, oh boy. This is gonna be painful. I can already see that now. But, yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's... Oh boy. Oh boy. Uh-oh. God, what is... Why is this happening? That's what I want to know. What is the purpose of it? What is the purpose of anything, honestly? Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I think it moved my arm and legs. I don't know the quote, but you know, just remembering that. Oh boy. We're almost done. Almost done. Just have to survive through this. That's all we need to do, to survive through this, and you'll be all good to go, I swear. Could have been all good to go, but no, we had to go through this. I don't know what was wrong with me. Why did I do this? If it's hard... Oh god, you know what? If it's hard for me to watch, I can only imagine what it's like for you. I mean, the only benefit you get is the fact you can hear my sanity going on in the background here. Watching this, suffering through. I guess we can suffer together, but, yeah, let's see. I don't think we're gonna be lucky because of the stupid glass, or ice, or whatever the hell it's called. But yeah, it's not fun. Not fun indeed. Oh, God. Oh, no. What? Great commentary, Grim! Yay! Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Because I don't. I don't! Got 1 done. That's great. Can I do the next thing for the 3? No. Doesn't look like it. It doesn't look like it at all. I think I'm screwed. Which is perfect. That's exactly what this whole match 3 puzzle is. It's just being screwed with everything you get dealt with. Because the game hates you. But we're getting close to finishing it, so there's that. So I'm glad for that part, but yeah. Oh boy, I didn't do it. Wow. Well, I ended up doing it here for some reason. Yay! I did it. I feel accomplished. Okay. Yeah. Now let's see if my theory is correct, though, because we're going to 39, if I'm mistaken. Let's see. No. Weird. Okay. So, Morticia is the last one. Alright, I guess I must have completed it then. Like, I could have sworn that we didn't do that because I was just so pissed off with it. Still, man. I have to play through these stupid games in order to get a certain prize because they locked it behind this paywall thing. And, unless I somehow got it without doing that... It's possible, but I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to find out when we get to part 3 and go, right, that's what happened. And I probably won't even remember it, to tell you the truth, even though it's gonna be like a day after recording this thing, but you don't know that. By the time it releases, it's like a few days after, like weeks or so after the fact. Right, but, see how lucky we are and how far we can go. I think this is the last puzzle and then we're done for this episode. Thank God, by the way. You know, suffer long enough. Right. So, what kind of holiday traditions for Thanksgiving do you guys do? Do you do anything fun? Do you watch the footballs? Do you watch American football? You know, I love it too. They're like, oh yeah, soccer. And you know, not soccer, it's football. The football is different. Football is soccer, or I should say football is, you know, different than whatever you call it, but unless they just play a joke, it'd be like, oh yes, they call it soccer football, football soccer. Just why is such a weird name for a game that's made in like American sports like that? By the way, I should mention with the Nightingales costume, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I might as well do it now just in case. I'll say it again if I did. But the costumes they got going on must have been done way early in the like years ago. Not like football now, because it looks like it's one of those old ones. So, yeah. Anyways, there we go. Got that done. Yay. Perfect. Alright, so now let's go over here. So what's next? Ah, right, so we got that going on here. Anyways, see this? Final level. Oh, you know what it is? Oh, I see what it was. I think I just realized it. So, look how horrible this is, by the way. This is god-awful. So I think I know what happened. So eventually I did buy the pack. And, like, in part 1. Because I suffered. And by doing that, I've unlocked all the prizes. So technically speaking, I didn't have to play through all these puzzles in order to unlock them. If you didn't, then you would have to, you know, play through them in order to get the prize itself. So, I lucked out on that one. So, I guess it was around this time that they actually did that. So, that's why I felt the need to say, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to play this puzzle no more because it's so god-awful. Like, I tried my best with it. I tried pushing through. But this, what you're looking at right here, this puzzle right here, this is what broke me. Because the moves they got you is not enough. And they got so many stupid spider webs. And they're on top of one another, and you have to clear the stupid logs as well, so there's just no way that this could be done properly. I don't know how you could have gotten this done, but it's insane. It's insane. Get to see the suffering I had to go through with this, but yeah, not fun indeed, but you know, oh god. Why does this have to be a filler episode? Why couldn't I have just shortened it and just included and made one long video for part 3? Because I think part 3 is long enough. That's why. I am so glad I'm never doing this ever again. That's the best part. I'm never doing this ever again. But yeah, 3 moves and then I'm gonna not be able to do it anymore, so those points would have been done. But here's the thing, if you didn't buy the pack, you know those points that you got there? Guess what that would have been? That would have been Morticia's costume. So yeah. Yeah. Get Morticia's costume, you gotta do that puzzle right there. So just imagine that. Yeah, that puzzle right there. Anyways, I did it so I can get Carvo's costume here, so that's thank you that, Carvo. And I think, yeah, we're getting very close to getting that, so that's great. Alright, I think you and I suffered long enough. I think it's time that we end it. Yeah, okay, let's end it. Alright, so, sorry about that. That was painful, and hopefully this will never happen again. I've now cancelled part 2s. Now part 2s are going to be finals. After this update, all part 2s are finals. That's my quota. And that's going to be the end of it. No more. We're going to have no more of this stalling. No more of this filler stuff. We're done. But, thank you. If you've made it to this point, thank you so much for surviving with me. Unless you skipped all the way to the end, and then, you know, you kind of cheated. But, alright, regardless. Anyways, I've been Grim, and this has been part 2 to the Thanksgiving 2020 special of the filler stuff. Until then, hopefully you get your appetites ready because we're about to finish this Thanksgiving meal. Who wins? Auntie Sloom or Gomez? I guess we're about to find out.